Annabelle, the original film, is actually a prequel to the Spookfest, The Conjuring. And then there's Annabelle, Creation, which serves as a precursor to the doll's own tale. Our story begins with the doll maker, Samuel Mullins. Devastated by the loss of his daughter, he makes a desperate pact with a malevolent entity, hoping to resurrect his child. But what he gets instead is Annabelle, a doll now an embodiment of evil. This tale of horror unfolds across decades, from the innocent girls living in Mullins' home in the mid-50s, to a young couple targeted by cult members in the late 60s, and finally, to a woman unwittingly purchasing the doll from an antique shop. But where is Annabelle now? Locked away, surrounded by Bible pages in the Warrens' haunted artifact room. A doll maker's desperate plea, a demon's wicked pact, and thus, Annabelle was born. In the hands of Samuel Mullins, a doll maker, grief gave shape to Annabelle. A man of craft, Mullins poured his heart and soul into his creations. But there was one that was more than just a doll. It was a vessel, a desperate attempt to reclaim a precious life lost. Samuel Mullins was a simple man, living a quiet life with his beloved daughter Annabelle. Their bond was unbreakable, their love undeniable. But fate had other plans. A tragic accident claimed young Annabelle's life, leaving Mullins in the depths of despair. In his grief, Mullins sought solace and comfort. But what he found was something far more sinister. Grief-stricken and desperate, Mullins struck a deal with a demonic entity, hoping to bring his daughter back. This wasn't a decision made lightly, but one born out of a deep, desperate longing for a connection lost. The doll maker, with his skilled hands, crafted a doll unlike any other. He named it Annabelle, after his late daughter. But this was no ordinary doll. It was a vessel, a conduit for the demon Mullins had made a pact with. The doll was more than just wood and paint. It was a host to a dark entity, a sinister presence that lurked within its innocent exterior. As the evil within the doll began to make itself known, Mullins realized the grave mistake he'd made. The doll wasn't his daughter, it was something far more malevolent. To contain the evil, Mullins locked the doll away, surrounding it with Bible pages, in an attempt to cage the demon within. In a room that once echoed with the laughter of a little girl, now lay a doll, a chilling reminder of a deal gone horribly wrong. The room was sealed, the doll trapped within, its evil supposedly contained by the holy verses that lined the walls. Trapped within Bible pages, the evil lay dormant, or so they thought. 1955, the Mullins home, a sanctuary for young girls, yet a playground for a lurking evil. The year saw the house brimming with life again, as it became a refuge for a group of young orphans. But beneath the veneer of safety, an ominous presence was waiting for the right moment to strike. Samuel Mullins, the master of the house, was a doll maker. He had crafted a beautiful doll, one that held a secret far darker than its innocent appearance might suggest. This doll was Annabelle, a vessel for a demon that Samuel and his wife had unwittingly invited in their desperation to reconnect with their deceased daughter. Among the orphans was a young girl who found herself drawn to this doll. The demon within Annabelle sensed her vulnerability, her loneliness, and seized the opportunity. It whispered sweet promises to her, convincing her that it would be her friend, her protector. The naive orphan, yearning for companionship, agreed, unknowingly inviting the demon to take residence within her. What followed was a terrifying string of events. The once vibrant home turned into a house of horrors, as the demon used its new host to wreak havoc. The other girls watched in horror as their friend's behavior turned increasingly strange and violent. The once innocent orphan was now a vessel of evil, her actions controlled by the entity residing within her. Despite the Mullins' attempts to protect the girls, the demon was far too powerful. It was a malevolent force that fed on fear and thrived on chaos. The house that was supposed to be a sanctuary for these young girls quickly turned into their worst nightmare. And at the center of this horror was the doll, Annabelle, innocuous in appearance but hiding a malevolent entity within. The story of Annabelle is not just about a haunted doll. It's a tale of desperation, vulnerability, and the terrifying lengths that evil can go to exploit these emotions. It's about a young orphan girl who, in her search for companionship, found herself in the grip of an unfathomable horror. An innocent game turned into a nightmare as Annabelle found a new host. a chilling reminder that things are not always as they seem, and sometimes the most beautiful things can hide the darkest secrets. From the hands of a doll maker to a couple entranced by its charm, Annabelle found her way. This is the tale of a journey that begins in the quaint home of the Mullins, where the doll was created with love, and ends in a nightmare where love has no meaning. The year was 1967. The scene shifts from the quiet Mullins home to the bustling city life. A couple, blissfully unaware of the horrors that await them, come into possession of the doll. They are drawn to her seemingly innocent charm, oblivious to the fact that they are bringing an unspeakable evil into their home. The doll, Annabelle, is not merely an object. She is a vessel, a conduit for a demonic entity that seeks to spread chaos and fear. As the couple settle into their lives with their new acquisition, the doll begins to reveal her true nature. Strange occurrences start to unfold, objects move on their own, whispers echo through the halls, and an inexplicable sense of dread fills the air. But the terror does not stop there. The couple find themselves the target of cult members, drawn to the malevolent energy that the doll emits. These individuals are not mere enthusiasts of the occult. They are servants of the darkness, and they seek to use Annabelle as a tool to bring forth their sinister plans. In the midst of this terror, the couple struggle to understand what is happening. They are ordinary people, thrust into an extraordinary situation. Their home, once a place of peace and love, has become a battleground against an unseen enemy. They fight not just for their lives, but for their souls. The journey of the Annabelle doll is a chilling testament to the power of the unseen. It reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places. In the hands of the unsuspecting, Annabelle weaved her web of horror. This was not the end of her journey, but merely the beginning. From the Mullins home to the couple's apartment and onwards, Annabelle continues her reign of terror, leaving a trail of fear in her wake. From an antique shop to a haunted artifact room, the legacy of Annabelle continued. The doll, imbued with an evil that seems to hunger for souls and chaos, found herself in an antique shop, a place where items with pasts, some benign, others malevolent, find themselves. Annabelle, however, was no ordinary antique. She was a vessel of darkness, waiting for the right person to latch onto. The doll's next chapter began when a woman, unaware of the lurking malevolence, purchased the doll. The woman gifted it to her innocent daughter, a gesture of love, unknowingly setting the stage for the events of The Conjuring. Here, Annabelle's legacy took a terrifying turn. The doll targeted the unsuspecting family, her demonic influence wreaking havoc and terror in their lives. This was a doll that did not just sit prettily on a shelf. She was a conduit for a demon, a harbinger of fear. Her dark legacy was not to be contained within a single household, and it was not long before her name echoed in hushed whispers across the world. But even a doll as dreadfully powerful as Annabelle could not roam freely forever. Her reign of terror eventually led her to the Warrens, a couple well versed in the paranormal. Recognizing the malevolent force within the doll, they took steps to contain it, and so Annabelle found her final resting place in the Warrens' haunted artifact room. A room filled with objects of the occult, each with its own story of horror and the supernatural. Among these, Annabelle sits, her eyes gleaming with unspeakable terror. No longer a simple child's toy, but a warning of the darkness that can dwell within the most innocent of objects. In the Warrens' room she sits, her eyes gleaming with unspeakable terror. A chilling legacy etched into a doll named Annabelle. A doll, a vessel, a curse. Annabelle's impact transcends the cinematic universe. The Annabelle doll, an emblem of terror, has an intricate history that intertwines with the Conjuring universe. Born of grief, Annabelle was crafted by Samuel Mullins, who, after losing his child, struck a pact with a demon for a chance at reunion. The result was a doll that bore the essence of malevolence. Annabelle's journey, from an innocent toy to a conduit of dread, took her from the Mullins home in 1955, where a young orphan was possessed by the very demon that lurked within the doll, to the hands of a couple in 1967, and eventually to an antique shop from where she was purchased as a gift, thus paving the way to the events of The Conjuring. The doll's legacy, while locked away within the Warrens' haunted artifact room, continues to instill fear and fascination among audiences. It's more than a prop in a movie. It's a symbol of the unseen horrors that lurk in the shadows, of the power that the supernatural holds over the human world. In the annals of horror, the name Annabelle echoes, a chilling reminder of the terrifying power of the unseen.